Welcome back here to Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Top of the fifth inning. We're still scoreless, and we got a very special guest up here in the booth in town for the big race tomorrow. We'll get to that in a little bit. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joins us. Ricky, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, not a problem. It's cool. I've driven by the stadium quite often, and I've never been here, so it's good to see a game.
You've been getting really involved, though, in this game. You were out there with the play ball announcement earlier. I like the racing spin on that as well. But also just the amount of different in-game activities here at Muni. Why is it so important? How much fun are you having being a part of all that?
No, it's really cool. It's good to just let people know that we're in town for the race tomorrow, and for me it's cool to come out, and I grew up playing baseball, and so being able to throw the first pitch out, and seeing the kids warm up and just play ball, do what they love, and I just really think back to when I was making it, trying to make it through the ranks in racing and get to the NASCAR level. And, I know that, they're going through those same things. And so, being able to be here, and then, obviously the kids that probably love baseball as well, doing all the races and things like that on the field, it was a lot of fun. And now we're up here in the booth checking the game out. And, man, it's really neat.
And you talk about growing up playing baseball. What was your first memory of the game, and how did you get involved with the game of baseball?
My dad played all sports growing up, and my dad raced, and I grew up going to the racetrack a lot. And so the biggest thing, for me is I played all sports: football, basketball, baseball. Played a lot of golf, and so I just loved playing baseball. That was probably my favorite pastime for sure. Is being on the baseball field. I played pitcher, catcher, and first, and I was always really, really competitive, and my dad was, one of the coaches, and he's super competitive as well, and I feel like that's why we made it, so good in racing. He was my crew chief in dirt racing and stuff, but yeah, just love playing ball, playing catch in the field. Still will go, fill in on some, co-ed softball games every now and then. So nice little strike out there. But yeah, I love the sport of baseball.
You're doing it all. You just want to take my job right now, so you're doing it all.
Well, I mean, I didn't want us to miss something here, so that's that was a nice ball there.
No, I like the strikeout call. I'm a big fan. So Dad was your coach growing up playing baseball. Now, obviously, part of your pit crew as well. How is he like as a coach from when you were a child playing sports growing up to now as a professional?
Quite a bit different. When I was a kid, I mean, my dad was pretty hard on me, and I feel like that's where that competitive spirit and fire came from, and the work ethic. I think my dad instilled that in me at a young age. One thing that I did when I was a kid that I only did one time was I was pitching, and he was giving me instructions from the third base, I think, and I kind of kicked dirt at him. And as I was on the mound, and I think that was the last time I did that, I got in trouble when I got home. I can tell you that. So no, I mean, right now it's nice just to call my dad after every race, every practice. I'll call him and just kind of go over what the car was doing and kind of what we were struggling with. And he watches every race too, and he can't see everything on TV, but he can see a lot, and it's always good to get his perspective.
That's for sure. And just growing up with family seems to be very important to you. Why is it so important to be a part of nights like tonight where you see so many different families at the ballpark? I know we've seen groups of siblings, a part of those in-game activities you're doing. Why is it so important in your mind just for families to stay connected through sports and all types?
Yeah, I mean, like me playing baseball growing up and all the families and, whether you're, on the all-star teams or travel teams and doing that as families, coming to, I remember taking our baseball team to minor league games and things like that. Racing's the same way, a massive community, and it's all about family. And we do things as a whole, and, it's always good to be involved in your kids' lives. I feel like I'm looking forward to that. Me and my wife have a fresh 8-month-old at home right now, so I'm looking forward to all of these things and playing baseball with them. And I want him to be well-rounded and be able to play all sports. And obviously, I'm partial to wanting him to race, but I don't know. My wife thinks he should be a bull rider at times, and a golfer at times. So it'll be fun watching him grow up.
All right. 2 away here after Walker makes the play at second base. We'll get to talk about why you're in town this week and obviously race tomorrow. Kind of what are your early thoughts and your expectations for yourself and your team tomorrow?
Yeah, it's Phoenix has always been a racetrack. Man, there's been a lot of foul balls tonight. The race here at Phoenix, when I was in the Xfinity series, the feeder series to the Cup Series, man, Phoenix was a really good racetrack for us. Since being in the Cup Series, we've had some good runs, but for the most part, I've struggled a lot here, just trying to get the car to drive like I want it to drive and how I need it to drive. So we came here this weekend with a totally different setup and a totally different kind of thought process. Basically like switching the bases around. It was like we have done.
Deep fly ball, right field.
What a catch. What a catch.
Tracks it down at the wall and makes a superb
Yeah, so,
catch.
For me, it's just been a struggle. But we had a good day today in practice, and, we qualified about 10 spots better than we have been on average the last 2 or 3 races here. So looking forward to getting out on the track tomorrow and, hopefully tearing it up and going forward and trying to get a probably top 15, top 10 finish would be a solid day for us.
All right, Ricky, we appreciate you stopping by. We really hope you enjoy the rest of your night here at Phoenix Community. For those wondering, the Shriners Children's 500 from Phoenix Race Day will be tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Ricky, thanks again.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back after this.